that it sounds like we're recording in some kind of a storage cellar.
Yeah, this is a throwback to that episode we recorded while we were looking for those Thai boys that were lost in a cave.
Yeah.
So you hear, doom, doom, doom.
Exactly. We've got Elon Musk has created a small...
Yeah. Well, he's chasing pedophiles in and out of rooms.
As he does.
Okay, so I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to try.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Check it out.
Are we ready?
We're ready.
All right. Dad jeans.
It's us.
Dad jeans.
I can hear us.
That's it. Right?
I heard us.
That was it. So we can say, like, hey, what theme song should we do? I'm still loading the theme songs, though. So what are we going to do tonight? I have One Toe in the Cool, I have Spike Club, I have Fatherly Advice, and I have our closing theme song.
This is so voice of God. Is there something is there a filter you can apply afterwards to
remove reverb?
De-reverbify?
Allegedly, but it's the stuff of legend. This is going to be a very reverby show.
Okay.
I asked for another. The thing is, you go to the front desk and you're like, can I have a different room?
Yeah.
And they're like, what? And then they get the guy who's like the troll who's been working here since 1840.
That guy. The slowest guy you've ever seen in your life.
Don't even get me started. Exactly. And so I can't, I was watching her like a hawk, being like, is there a different room downstairs? I see you have a lot of keys on wooden dowels with numbers written on them that say RM period 2 blank blank. Is that a key to a room that begins with 2?
Right.
And is that why you have it on a wooden dowel? And does that connect to the fact that the last time I was fucking here, you gave me a fucking key on a wooden dowel that gave me a room downstairs? Yeah. And she's like, I don't know if these are even keys or what wood is. Maybe I should talk to the librarian. And I was like,
they're not. You're like what you say to that person is, you're not even a fucking millennial. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Step back. I don't know what you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your filter generation. What are they now?
Newport Cools. That's what they are. Filters, unfiltered.
We're going back.
Yeah.
Virginia Slim, baby.
Okay, so it's going to take me a second to load any theme song that I didn't anticipate.
I think we're going to do some newspapers. Definitely.
That's the one I can't find. Oh, there it is.
Because today's a peeping day.
Oh, sure it is. Okay. I have newspapers ready. Okay.
Okay, newspapers. Do I have a one toe? I don't know that I have.
Me neither.
Let's just skip it.
Yeah, let's not do it.
Of course, we're going to do Spite.
Fatherly Advice. I don't have any. I have to think of some.
It's
been a long time. I've had enough time to think of it. Maybe a Compunction Junction, although I can't think of anything.
Oh, I have two things to
yeah, actually, I have a couple of Compunction Junctions. What two gentlemen in the history of podcasting don't have more compunctions than us?
Multiple compunctions.
That said,
newspapers, Spike Club. I have a True Daddy confession.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll be ready for all of these things.
Okay.
I think we just have to speak very softly so we don't create a lot of reverb, and then we're going to be okay.
Okay, like this.
Yeah, these are very powerful microphones
like the
also.
Yin-Yang twins.
Just think of yourself as
Let me show you my penis.
Morning edition.
My penis.
You're the omnisexual Steve Inskeep, and I am the sexually repressed and frustrated David Green. That's it. Did we talk? Have we talked about that? Is Have we talked about how weirdly loudly he laughs in the middle of interviews, just like that? Have we talked about that on the air?
I don't think we have.
How much that drives me fucking crazy.
He seems so jovial, though.
He does, and then you're like, this guy. That's it. And he definitely weighs 400 pounds. Let me Google him. Oh no, he's a fox.
Oh no, he's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I just opened up to a random page in my journal here that I'm taking notes on, and it begins. It's the beginning of a story apparently, and it reads, "Hey, look," she said, "this is no picnic for me, but it was a picnic." What is that story about?
That's so great. That's like the opening sentence contest.
Yeah. That's
like the dark and stormy night contest.
Can we take a minute? I know that this is fun. We've kind of jumped right in, but I do need to take a moment to compose my thoughts.
Do you have to poop again?
No.
Oh, good.
Done with that.
How did that turn out for you?
It was a hard night.
Was it?
You guys caught me on a hard night. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. All right, let's see if I can pause this thing.
Pause.
What we do, Jeffrey, is we get close and we talk low.
And we talk real low, don't we?
We talk low. This is David Allen Boucher.
That feels a little
bedtime magic.
David Allen Boucher.
Yeah, he was the DJ in Boston who played Bedtime Magic, which was soft rock.
I love it.
Magic 106.
Yeah.
And he was
Chris Carpenter, or no?
Yeah, he was
Christopher Cross, maybe.
maybe Criss Cross. Yeah,
Yeah.
It'll make you jump. It's not the slowest jam,
Different,
but
different Chris Cross, but okay.
got it.
You're heading down the right path.
I think he probably accidentally played that, and then all the 58-year-olds who are trying desperately to have 2 minutes of sex to Midtime Magic were like, oh.
Or they were like their eyes started bleeding. They're like, what is
They're
it?
pulling their own teeth out.
This is the water. This is the well. No one will get that. That's a Twin Peaks reference.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? Drink up and descend, or something like that. Brendan.
Jeffrey.
Hi.
Hi.
I should tell our listeners, first of all, we're Dad Jeans.
We're Dad Jeans.
Jeffrey Dennis Dinsmore.
Brendan Dennis Hughes.
You're not.
No, it's Brendan Patrick Hughes.
Brendan Patrick.
Hello, Dennis.
Hello.
I am also middle
Pat.
named after my father.
Can I just call you Pat?
You can you can call him anything you want.
I never cared for a Pat. A Patrick is a great.
Patrick is
That's
a great name.
good man.
You know what? You know what the
Pat.
original Pat.
Can't trust him.
That's right. Yeah, because it sounds Pat.
Yeah, it's not. It's too soft.
The original Irish name is Porrig,
Oh, I like that.
but it's spelled Poddraig, which is why that character in Game of Thrones is Podrick.
I see.
There are many versions.
Like Neve is spelled Neambuff.
Yeah. And do you know what the Irish president is named?
Neve.
It's
Freeze out.
the word for president. That's basically it.
That's that.
It's T-such.
Yeah.
No, yeah, T-such. But it's spelled Teoaieo, pound, @ sign,
I love
EIA, all vowels for like 9 spaces,
I love
and
it.
then S, and then 9 more vowels, and then other consonants.
What's the relationship
Toyo
to
switch.
the Irish and to Gaelic, or is it Gaelic or Celtic? What would one call the language?
Oh, some people, it's misnamed, mislabeled Gaelic, but it is technically called Irish by people who speak it.
Okay. Well, what's the relationship to that and Welsh?
Great question.
They seem similar.
But Welsh is insane.
Yeah. Gorky's Zygotic Minsky.
The longest town name in the world.
Is Welsh?
Flurgendigburdigendugendogogog.
That sounds
Or
right.
something like that.
That sounds right.
Yeah, the Welsh had nothing to do but lengthen their words for centuries.
Yeah. They just sit around and add another vowel.
Yeah,
It wasn't long enough.
It's
like the British Cockney rhyming slang, like where they just
Abby Polly Logis Droogs.
it would just be like 1,000 miles like divorced from what the original word was.
There's a huge difference when a British person is speaking English, and you know what the difference is?
What?
It's their native language.
Oh, sure.
It's not. We don't have a native language. I mean, I do, but I don't speak it.
That's a very American way of thinking about America. We have nothing.
We have nothing.
We're just a facsimile of everyone else.
We are. There are exact copies of us in our home countries.
We are the tethered.
We are the tethered.
Did you see us?
No, I'd like to.
Missed out. I don't know, but I'm gonna have to really watch my lips on these mics. Oh, so what I was gonna say, everyone, is that we're set up at Occidental again. This is our new place. We're basically the official podcast of Occidental College. now.
I'd say so.
So can they start advertising?
Yeah,
Cool.
and we can get our hands on some of those booster dollars. But we will have to inject steroids into our thighs.
Oh well, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
It's a little butt acne, but no one's looking.
Who doesn't have butt acne already?
I mean,
there's a woman set up front, or a young lady, with mini boxes of donuts. And I'm
really?
assuming she's not going to eat them all herself.
let me ask you something. Do you mean the boxes are tiny, or the donuts inside the boxes are tiny?
The woman was tiny.
Well, okay, wait. So there's a mini woman out there with boxes of donuts, or there's a woman out there with mini boxes of donuts, or the woman out there with boxes of mini donuts?
Manny.
Many. Oh, you're from
Not
Michigan.
mini.
Oh, you said mini, and it threw me
Manny.
off. I was trying to locate this
Manny boxes.
in geographic space.
How would you say?
Geometric space.
How would you say it? Not geometric space. How would you say? Many boxes of donuts.
Man. I would say money. Because I'm from, it's a Boston
Brahmin.
thing.
Yeah.
Money. My aunt has money boxes of donuts.
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 I would
Of
like-
donuts.
I would like many of your donuts, please.
Roughly like that. And
Yeah.
she would say, Certainly sar.
And that comes from the Welsh.
Yes.
Originally, which is
Yeah. Sir good.
Yep.
But and the Welsh played lots of djembes.
So she's sitting out here with a bunch of boxes of donuts, a bunch, and but there was no sign saying like "buy me," or she was just sitting in front of like 4 boxes of open donuts.
Oh, this could be just her finals week thing,
or maybe it's just her thing. She's like giving people donuts.
But is she giving people, or are they her donuts for the night?
I didn't want to ask, but that's because I'm too acculturated to the norm world. Like I should get into college mind.
Oh yeah.
Because like a college kid would be like, "Hey, donuts! Could I get one of these donuts?"
Yeah. Oh, totally.
And she'd be like, "Yeah, the donut." And now you're best friends, and now you're coming over to their frat.
And then you're listening to records in her dorm.
Yeah, we don't do that out in the real world.
No, we do not. No, we do not.
Doesn't happen. No, we donut.
No, we do not. I was walking past a woman in the opposite direction. We were walking past each other, and as we were walking towards each other, there was a little stairway of 3 stairs, and there was a wheelchair ramp.
Yes.
And as we came towards each other, I felt that I would make her too uncomfortable if I walked up the stairs as she walked down them, because they were only 6 feet wide. So I very obviously and conspicuously took the wheelchair ramp so that there would be a giant metal railing between us.
You grabbed a kid in a wheelchair, threw him out of his chair.
And I was like, out of the way, son. Yeah. So that she would not feel... because I got a vibe. I did not want her to not feel safe with me walking past her.
You're an uncomfortable walker. If I were walking past you on a set of stairs, I would feel like, this guy, I can't, what's the energy coming at me right now?
Oh, well, I should describe what I was wearing. I had a shirt on, but I had cut holes for the nipples. and I was staring at her.
Yeah. Well, that's what one does at Occidental.
Oh, this wasn't here.
Donut day.
This was just out in the world.
Yeah. Oh,
but I feel myself like. Here's the thing. The serious level of that is that I feel
myself
like
sometimes.
I feel myself. I mean, how can I not?
Of course.
But there is I've suddenly become very aware in the last little while of like what a fucking battlefield the American city is for young women, and I got the sense that she was like, it would mean a lot to me if you made it unbelievably obvious that you're not going to attack me. Can you imagine that?
Interesting. What was it that tipped you off that that's how she was feeling?
I like to twinkle.
Yeah. I don't understand what that means. With your exposed nipples, you mean?
Yeah.
Your gynecomastically exposed nipples?
Sometimes I think about seeing someone.
No, don't.
Someone with a sharp knife.
You do you, baby.
I don't know, man. Okay. In any case.
Yeah.
Fuck was I talking about? I'm thinking about my nipples.
I want to know how you knew that she.
Oh, I remember. So I
was going to be uncomfortable.
I like to twinkle at everyone I walk by. Jeffrey. Yeah. I haven't walked by.
Everyone likes me. Yeah.
Like literally every other person is
You're
a
Detective
puppy.
Pikachu, basically.
Everyone's a puppy.
Okay.
So I make eye contact. I've made eye contact with literally every person I've ever walked past on the street ever in my entire life. And if they look back at me,
Only been knifed 3 times.
Only been knifed 3 times.
Yep.
I like to twinkle at them.
Okay.
And so I made my twinkle available to her.
Yeah.
And I got the sense like she was like, do not you fucking twinkle at me.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, oh, change of plan. I'm gonna go the long route and make it clear that I'm gonna look down. I am sorry that I was forthcoming in any way with you socially.
Is it okay for sometimes this is a question for all of us modern males out there.
It is.
Sometimes is the woman the asshole? Is that
not for the next 100 years?
That's not a possibility.
Not in our lifetimes, my friend.
That's fair. I'm sure I was the asshole enough times that like I deserve whatever is coming back to me.
Yeah, same.
But I don't know. I don't know what the rules are anymore.
For the last year, I have been visited by the ghosts of all the fucking horrendous things I did to other people from the ages of 17 to 25.
Okay.
I was horrible.
And the 25 to 40...
I was a perfect angel.
5. Okay, cool.
But boy,
you've been just like waking up in a cold sweat at night.
Yeah.
Imagining.
Just tortured. tortured
how
by
sweaty your palms were when you touched that girl's boobs that one time. And you
No,
were
see,
just
that
like,
would've been-
what did I do?
That sounds like if it was like cold, sweaty, like faux pas level would be fine. But this
this was
like
planned.
no. It wasn't really sexual. It was more
perpetrated.
No, it was more just being a dick.
Okay,
You know what I mean? Like
that's
I was
fair.
a total 90% of the people that I've ever met would be like, Brendan is nice.
Yeah.
10% of the people that I've ever met would be like, that guy wounded me in a way
Right.
I'll never recover from.
Well, I mean, here's the trouble, though, is that I feel like one has to mature to a certain point in order to have proper perspective, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, and I would say a good 80% of the country never matures to that point.
That's true.
So, basically, we're expecting so much of people at every point of their age when we are brought up in this culture that is really only in the last like 5 years, I feel like, has any sort of idea of wokeness like gone mainstream.
Yeah.
You know, like when you go to college, you start to think, oh, okay, there's people different than me, and
Right.
maybe I'm not the only. Maybe white me is not the only thing walking around in the world, and you start to broaden your perspective a little bit. But that takes maturity
It takes college.
to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
You're not gonna do that on your own.
Most people are not there even well after college.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what to do. Can we get into Compunction Junction?
Well, let's do it.
Oh,
I
we
think
have
that's a fine idea.
A theme song. Do we? So we're sitting in a room that's steadily darkening around us.
Yeah, it's true. Do you see that weird industrial? There's the thermostat, but then
Yeah.
also next to it to the left, that's the light switch.
Okay.
You hit that, and I'm going to play the theme song. Ready?
I feel very. Let me just say before we get to that, for some reason I've never seen this movie, The Faculty, in which it's a horror movie, and Jon Stewart, I believe, is a horror teacher.
Really?
In it, yeah. But for some reason, I just looked over in the corner, and I was just like, "We're in The Faculty." It's like dark. There's like film noir shadows from the blinds on the walls.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very.
chiaroscuro.
This is. This may be our last night on Earth, Brendan.
I'm okay dying with you.
Oh, that's sweet. I would not mind having like a kitten along with us
To snap it,
if we're
to
gonna
like
die.
snap its neck, so maybe it dies instead of you.
I just hadn't even thought about that, like a sacrifice kind of
Yeah,
situation.
just get a fixed strategy.
No, I just thought I'd have sex with it.
Here comes Compunction Junction.
I'm so sorry, I was wrong, and here we are, Compunction Junction.
That Brian Perkins.
Oh, yeah.
He does it for me.
We miss him.
We miss him.
Glaringly bright now.
I know.
It's nice.
Oh well.
This is Compunction Junction. This is
Yeah.
where we atone for our past sins.
It is indeed.
On this show and elsewhere.
Yep.
I have two from 2 episodes ago.
I see.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Should I just jump into them?
Jump into them.
Do you have any?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. 2 episodes ago, we were talking about movies, and somehow we stumbled upon the name Wong Kar-wai,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
who I...
Wong being the last name.
Sure, I'll buy it. I don't know how things work over there, but I mistakenly labeled this gentleman as Japanese.
Oh, no, Chinese.
He is, of course, Chinese, which anyone who knows names would be able to figure out. So that was a compunction. I'm sorry, Mr. Wong. Correct?
Yep.
The other one, I don't know how this came up, but we stumbled upon the name Cloris Leachman,
Oh God, I love her.
who I mistakenly said,
Oh, you said she was Japanese.
no, yeah, she's actually Korean. So I'm in a lot of hot water in the East.
Stay close to the candles.
No, I said I made a joke about her joining Valerie's family after Valerie Harper left. Of course, that was Sandy Duncan.
Oh, who played Peter Pan famously?
Yes, and Cloris Leachman.
Yeah.
And only had one eye. And Cloris Leachman
The drummer from
actually
Def Leppard
joined.
only had one eye.
I've never heard that. Cloris Leachman actually joined the cast of Facts of Life after Charlotte Rae left. So I mixed up my late season switcheroo performers.
Of 1970s television programs.
That's right.
Maude? Wait, no, not Maude. What was it?
1980s.
Valery's Family.
Yes, correct.
And the Facts
and
of
then
Life.
it became the Hogan family.
Really?
Yes.
And then did it become the Vaccaro family when Brenda Vaccaro joined? And then eventually it became the Charles Nelson Riley family.
Then it just became Wings. I don't remember the exact trajectory.
And it was just a live Twitch stream of
Yeah.
Paul McCartney trying to write a song with Linda.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I have another.
Or Nicholas from Eight Is Enough masturbating in his room.
Oh, Jesus. I don't know what's happening right now. That was a popular thought in your head as a child?
I can't believe what I just said.
I don't know, man.
Can I have that moment back?
Dick Van Patten
Yeah.
would allow that to happen under his roof, you think?
You don't remember the masturbation episode of Eight Is Enough?
It's a lost
Kids,
time.
kids, gather around. Listen.
What's he doing?
No, yeah, and then they play the Tom Waits song.
Yeah. What's he building in there? That was a weird fucking episode of Eight Is Enough. Now that you mention it, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Very memorable.
There was a
Seared into my
dream ballet
memories.
in the middle. As I was saying earlier, any good, worthy piece of art must be attacked from within.
Okay.
And Nicholas was the attack.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't human.
No. Yeah, obviously. It was a V crossover series.
0 of our audience members remember Eight
No.
Is Enough.
No.
Actually,
Or V.
1 or 2. Or V. You mean the miniseries or the actual series?
I preferred the miniseries.
Same.
But I watched the actual series.
Oh, I see.
They were lizard people who ate mice.
And when they spoke, their
Fantastic.
mouths didn't move because the production budget was low.
Oh, I don't remember that.
They
just were like-
spoke, yeah, but they
like
just
guys
had
in lizard
Australian
masks.
5-cigarette mouth.
Yeah, right. I have one more thing that's not exactly a compunction, but it relates to our last conversation with Chris Beatty, the wonderful,
Oh,
brilliant,
the Beatty
and
bump.
charming. The Beatty bump. We got the Beatty bump. Yeah.
we got the Beatty bump. Chris, you were a phenom.
Yeah, phenom. People crawling out of the woodworks to be a part of the Dad Jeans community now.
His
I would call it
naturalism.
equipoise, personally.
I would call it equipoise also.
Yeah.
His grace
Grace.
under pressure.
Fire.
Under Brendan.
Yeah. Who was that? What comic was that? That was, okay, never mind. Grace Under Fire. Butler. Bobby Butler. I don't know. We'll talk about this off the air. He asked a question about, or he requested that we have more dad content.
Indeed.
On Dad Jeans.
I have a question about being a dad for you. But go on.
Oh, I would love to
proceed.
discuss that. My thing, I realized afterwards, had the discussion. I realized afterwards that the problem is, as your kids get older, like you begin to realize that they're fully cognizant people, and it's harder to discuss them without feeling like you're somehow invading their space.
Right. This is
know?
why I don't post any pictures of Oscar on social media, or I
Oh.
try not to anyway,
See, there you go.
because it's his business.
It is his business. It's his
not
business.
I would be like ticked off if any other. I mean, they do, and I'm
Were you
always
Dick
like,
Van Patten over here, just exposing your child
kids,
to America.
kids, I'm going to take a picture of Nicholas and I'm going to mail it to all the neighbors, people he doesn't know.
This is how you deal with this
And then
behavior.
they're going to write on that white space on the bottom of the Polaroid
Yeah.
whatever they want, and they're going to mail that back to me, and I'm going to enjoy what they say, but Nicholas has nothing to do with it.
I love this whole scenario you've cooked up. Okay, so where does that leave us? That's all I have to say about that.
Wait, what was your compunction?
We're going to keep talking about our children, I'm sure.
Oh, that's the
But I
compunction.
find it's harder to you don't want to say the things that you say about your children when they're 2 years old, and you're like, oh, this whiny motherfucker. So
Right, yeah.
Then it's like, now I have an 8-year-old daughter, you know? She's
Right.
like big.
She's like there's like, and all
She
kids,
has an ego. She has like a thing,
a super ego even.
a super ego. Some might say an id.
Some might.
Some might.
I mean, they start with an id.
There is an id.
And some people just
in
don't,
there.
and just don't, just stop there.
They never get beyond it.
Emily has observed that all kids are generally not actually their age. They alternate between being 2 years older than their age and 2 years younger than their age. So Oscar has lots of 8-year-old moments, and he has lots of 4-year-old moments. And the aggregate and the mean
Is 6. Yeah.
is 6.
Yeah, that's fair. So,
Median.
You think there are no 6-year-old moments?
And then we don't notice. But the things that stand out, like he has some 4-year-old fucking moments, and then he has some 8-year-old moments, and we're like, holy shit. And then it's just life, and everything is plugging along.
Yeah, that's probably true. There's a lot of chemicals happening inside of a head.
Yeah, and they're trying to like figure it out. And his latest thing is yelling, "You hate me!" Did either of your kids ever go through anything like that?
Of course, they mostly went through "I hate you." They didn't do so much "You hate me."
Yeah, it's very
I want
odd.
to
And he
move
like,
this a little bit closer. Can I do that?
of course you can.
Okay.
It would not be an episode of Dad Jeans without Jeffrey
If there were weird
adjusting his microphone.
mic fumbles, and is it pointing at the right place?
It is. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yep. It should make you feel like there's
I
one
want,
thing
I
you
want
should
you
do
to
to
put
it.
2 like googly eyes on here, so it's
Oh,
like,
that's not a bad idea. So we have a little scene partner.
it's happy. Yeah.
Yeah. He is hitting
He
himself
says,
in the head
"You hate me."
and punches himself in the head.
Oh, we didn't. I don't think we went through that. No. What are you going to do about that? That sounds terrible.
It's troubling.
He'll grow out of it.
We talked to this other parent that Emily was talking to, was like, is he doing that thing where he's creating all this controversy and telling and saying, "You hate me"? And Emily's like, yes. And it's like, and we're thinking it's just this. She did a little Googling, and it's like par for the course.
Yeah.
Like, he's separating his identity from us.
Actually,
more.
now that I think about it, Hazel did go through that.
Oh, interesting.
But I don't remember what happened. I guess she just grew out of it.
They do, yeah. It's the tumultuous moment, according to, no one knows anything, but according to someone who pretended to know about this, he is sort of like going through another phase of stepping back from us and being
Right.
like, oh, you guys can have your own opinions whenever you want about whatever you want, and I can't control it, and I'm not a part of it.
Yeah.
And
that's
so
hard.
it's a moment of separation.
Yeah.
And so Emily just got home from a business trip at dinner time, and then I stepped out the door, and there was like a 20-minute overlap, and he had an absolute conniption fit, like lost his fucking mind. Just picked something to blow a gasket about, and then was like screaming at the top of his lungs, really angry.
Okay.
And then, but he does this now and then. He's in kind of a phase, and he'll go out. He comes in and out of these. But sometimes he'll be like, screaming, scary screaming, and then stop and be like, Daddy, why did Luke Skywalker have a green lightsaber in the third movie, but it was blue in the first one? And goes back to screaming.
He has
again.
moments of clarity.
Of weirdly hilarious, like no dead space clarity.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
But what do you do when that happens? Do you just kind of like let it run its course?
I read a book. No, I didn't.
No, you didn't. You never read a book in your life.
It's called Rewire Your Brain, and it was about how when you're going into like this emotional meltdown, it's your right brain is just flaring up.
Okay.
And the only way to pull yourself out of like a flare up of emotion is to activate your left brain enough so that it rebalances what's going on. So you just have to do like long division and like do intellectual things, and then it will just kind of like bring it all back into balance.
And so you do that with him?
I try.
Do you do like exercise, like mental? Do you prepare him in any way? Like, are you teaching him math or teaching him to read or do any of that shit?
Not really.
Yeah.
I did tell him one thing on the way to school, or I tell him this almost every day. Listen by forming pictures in your head of what the person is saying.
That's good for memory.
Yeah. That's it. But I'm not really, I mean, we do a little bit and we help him with the homework and stuff, but we're not psychos.
Mostly your guidance just is in the form of unsolicited fatherly advice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
When
not
you're
what-
walking with your backpack, always keep...
Right. If you ever have to punch two people, elbow one behind you and then punch the one in front of you.
That's good. He'll just his entire education is tidbits. It's like all I know is tidbits.
He's all I got. But isn't life just a series of tidbits?
Pretty much, yeah. Okay, so we're done with.
I can't remember
compunctions.
if on the air
Or do you
or
have a
off the
compunction?
air. I have a compunction.
Oh.
I can't remember if I in the last
Apologize to Dick
episode.
Van Patten.
Dick Van Patten,
A huge apology.
DVP, as
Yeah.
we like to call him.
Yeah, DVP. Spiritual godfather of Dad Jeans.
And Nicholas. And all of us. He's America's spiritual podcast
America's spiritual
godfather.
We voted at the.
Podfather.
Is that what they voted? I didn't go to the last meeting.
Yeah.
That's how the vote turned out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It got a little weird. There's a new groundswell. Sorry, I was going to say. Okay. So anyway, I think I might have complained either off the air or on the air about not being able to get anywhere socially with some of the other dads in the kindergarten class.
Yeah, that's rough.
Did I mention that? So like I was kind of worked up and like there's this one dad.
You were crying.
Was I?
You're punching yourself in the face.
Oh, that sounds just like me.
And then you're like, in Return of the Jedi.
When he tried to talk to the other dad in the
Yeah.
Jedi kindergarten.
Yeah.
So and like sometimes I try and like talk to this other guy, and he just gives me the okay, well, bye. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a lot of boring dudes out there.
I know, but like I can tell there's something going on in there, but it would take a major investment.
Yeah.
Then there's this other dude who I adore, and every morning we have like a great like chit chat, tete-a-tete. I want to have him on the show because he's that funny.
Okay.
Anyway, but I had a compunction because I was
That
like,
wasn't neither of us.
I shouldn't, because
That
I
was
said
the
to
donut
Emily,
girl.
that was a donut girl.
Yeah, I just
sneezing
sneezed.
at the top of her lungs because all the
Sneezing all over the donuts.
because of the powdered sugar.
I'm sure. It's really cocaine.
That's what's really going on here.
That's what's
It's
really
like
going
the
on.
injecting oranges with vodka.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Except
I think
you
there's a little-
inject cocaine onto donuts by
Onto a donut.
sprinkling it.
Yeah, there's a little drug peddling situation happening out front.
Coconuts.
Oxygen.
Coconuts. Cocaine nuts.
Coconuts. I'm
Coconuts.
coconuts for coconuts.
Anyway, Emily was like, "You talked about the dads in kindergarten on the show. Are you kidding?"
Oh, dear.
And then I was like, "I don't know. I don't remember what I said." Les did get away from me yet again for another episode. I want to be friends with the other dads, but
Okay.
it's hard to break the ice with some of them. One of them is like full on
Here's
friend
what you do.
action.
Here's what you do.
What is it?
Get yourself a mini disc player.
I like where this is going. Should be rack mount.
Yeah. If you can find rack mount, get rack mount.
We had one in my
That's-
old theater company.
That's the best.
Because then you can put the little
You gotta
song
mount
names.
it first. Yeah,
You do it
exactly.
to and you got to get a rack.
Yeah, you gotta get a rack. You gotta mount it. It's that's a whole thing.
It's not a thing.
We won't go into it. Take the latest episode of Dad Jeans, burn it
Go on.
to the mini disc. Mm-hmm. Maybe like 10. Make 10 copies. Take the mini disc down to Kinko's. Make yourself 10 copies
Only $25
in different
each.
colors.
Yeah, oh yeah, with the see-through little case,
Exactly.
and right on the tiny, tiny label.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Will you be my friend? Here's my podcast, and then you hand it out to the dads.
Should I give them the one in which I said most of those other dads in my class are drips?
Yes.
Should I give them that episode?
Yeah, except. Okay, here's the solution to that.
Bleep it.
No, put when you get to the line where you say drips,
Yeah.
do redub where you say cool guys.
That is pretty good.
Most of those guys are cool guys.
I can't believe those fucking future friends.
You're in, dude.
I think that's a
you'll
really
be
good
you'll
idea.
be the man.
And it's a great icebreaker too to be like, hey, do you have a mini disc player in your truck?
The one with all the Trump stickers. Of course.
Listen, I got something that's really gonna knock you out.
What if you find out there's a huge like mini disc community
Oh,
In,
that's gonna be the next
in the
thing.
neighborhood? Yeah.
Yeah, like they'll sell it at the vinyl store next to the cassettes.
Oh, I'm surprised that it hasn't made a comeback yet.
Oh, I'm in a CD circle.
Ooh.
That's my one toe in the pool.
Oh, well, put me in that motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. Jesus, you belong there. More than me. Who am I?
I belong.
You are who we need. You're just the kind of guy we need.
I used to be in a CD club, and I made up, I made the soundtrack to a movie that didn't exist.
Oh, it's
and
great.
I made the film poster, and on the inside I wrote a synopsis of the movie, and I described every scene, and no one fucking got it. No one knew that it was. No one knew that it wasn't a real movie.
Oh my God! I could send out
because no one listened to the fucking CD.
Vorhorst, the musical comedy.
No one listens to that. Oh, that would be wonderful.
Where it's just like this cheese ball. That would be pretty amazing.
We'll talk off air.
Yeah.
Do we want to move into then our next?
Yes.
What are we doing?
There's a lot to talk about in the news.
Oh, the news is happening right now.
I know, but
everywhere
luckily
you
now that
turn,
we're doing
there's
this,
news.
There is no post anymore. We can put this out tomorrow morning.
Oh, this is amazing.
Yeah,
this
it's
is the
pretty
most timely thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
If I do the graphic in time,
right,
that usually takes me like several weeks.
If you think of the title,
yeah.
That's the hard part. You tell me.
I already got it. We've got coconuts for coconuts. Or no, we donut.
Or coconuts for cocaine donuts.
Yeah. That's fun. We got it. Done.
Okay.
Okay, so yes, what are we doing now?
Newspapers.
Yes.
Lot of stuff going on over here, over there. We're gonna tell you about the world, cause the world is important. Newspapers, we peep the news.
What I wouldn't give for your musical acumen and voice.
Oh, that's so sweet of you, Brendan. I don't think I have the voice anymore. It sends me into paroxysms of coughing when I try to sing. I think I have throat cancer.
You may or may not have throat cancer, but here's
Yeah.
what else you have.
What?
A very impressive vocabulary.
Oh.
I can't remember the last time I used paroxysms in casual conversation.
It comes up from time to time.
I like to say
as often as
quotidian.
equipoise.
What about quotidian?
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I say that a lot.
Keep going with that one, brother.
That's all I got. And I get the blank stares, and I'm like, yeah, suck it. I went to
great.
public university.
Stick that in your quiver.
Although I learned it at Yale.
Yeah. Of course you did. You learned nothing at the public university that you kept with you.
Yeah,
except
nothing.
the pixies.
Oh, no,
Really
how to
not the
read a
pixies.
census. I took a class on how to read the census and interpret the numbers in my public university.
That's a perfect segue into newspapers because what about the census?
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
It's not gonna mean anything. These fucking guys. These fucking
These
guys.
fucking guys.
Yeah.
Led by Lindsey Graham Cracker and others.
This guy, I just want someone to be like, what does he have on you, man?
Seriously.
Just like
He went golfing, and then everything's different.
Exactly. That's
The
what I'm saying.
Russians
that
turned-
meeting.
The Russians turned on his microchip.
Oh yeah. No, I think he just Trump was like, hey, have a seat in my golf cart, and then he looks down at the seat, and there's a folder with a picture inside of Lindsey Graham, with Nicholas from Eight Is Enough.
Could it be like a list of their favorite porn sites that they go to and video of them masturbating?
Got to be so much worse than that.
So then,
I bet these guys have got some shady fucking. It's the whole fucking. There's a they're all involved with this Jeffrey Epstein guy.
That's true.
With his
So they're
human
having-
trafficking.
That is what it is. That's what it is. It's got to be the human
white
trafficking.
slave owners. Yes.
They are. Yeah, they all have gimps in their basement. Gimps in their actual basement.
They've got bad things happening.
Like evil things.
Yeah, like rocket pizza kind of things.
That's the funny thing is that you know how the Republicans do. I know you are, but what am I?
Yeah.
And they get
All
out
projection.
in front by accusing the Democrats of
All
what they
projection.
themselves do.
Exactly.
Rocket pizza.
Exactly.
There is a pizza place, but it's Republicans doing it.
Yep. Exactly.
And it's not pizza. It's donuts.
Donuts. Yeah.
It's a donut place.
Maybe that's what this woman out here is representing?
She's trying to save the nation by alerting us all to the issue.
Oh, maybe so.
It's an art piece where she's like, I've covered these donuts in cocaine. This cost me $10,000 and no one's getting it.
Yeah. Just don't visit the basement of Occidental Pizza, or you'll see something you don't want to see.
Exactly.
Or maybe you do want to see, depending on your political affiliation.
Depending on how much you like Lindsey Graham.
Well, we're talking today on the day of the Bill Barr testimony.
And tomorrow, when in the House they'll be
Yes.
like Bill Barr, and he won't show up, and then they have to send this sergeant at arms to arrest him and put him in prison.
God, please.
Nadler. His name is Nadler.
Come on.
He's got the nads.
I hope he has the nads.
Me
I want to
too.
see someone just throw down and be like, here's the law, motherfucker. Like, you want to take it to the Supreme Court? Let's go. Let's go.
The
It's go
sergeant
time.
at arms of the House of Representatives is a very respected and decorated, decades of service, Secret Service man.
And now, is that an actual thing?
They can send him and he can arrest anyone they ask him to arrest, including the Attorney General of the United States.
And then what are we in? What's happening then?
AGOTUS.
That's
No, that's the acronym for Attorney General of the
Oh,
United States.
I thought this was some kind of like Ragnarok stuff.
Yeah. Then we enter into the AGOTUS.
Yeah. And then the ring opens up and 2 men enter and only 1 man leaves.
Yeah, and you know who leaves? A little girl with black hair via the television.
Oh, God.
You said something about the ring? Oh, different ring.
Yeah, same. I don't know.
Oh, you're doing Master
I
Blaster.
don't know what I'm talking about now. I don't know what's happening.
I do now.
I'm confused. But we should be pissed. Let's be angry.
Yeah.
We're too we're too quippy tonight.
Here's the
like
thing.
there's some horrible things happening in our country.
I have something to say to you, Jeffrey.
Oh,
You
please.
and I already said it on our text thread with Brian.
Yeah.
It is this.
Yeah.
Because you guys were like, because Brian was making the point that all these fucking Kavanaugh, all these other dickbags,
These guys.
are just like frat boys who are caught, like that little swimmy kid at Stanford or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I didn't know it was wrong behind the dumpster or whatever. You know what I mean? They're horrible human beings.
Yeah. And America listens to them and forgives them.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
This is my issue.
Okay.
Yeah, so Brian was saying that, and it's like, yes, sure. All of us over here in the reality-based community, sure, yeah, all these are, like Kamala Harris, getting him to admit he didn't look at the evidence. Sure, slam dunk, great, kind of, but
Right.
in a football game,
Yeah.
as I said by the text, the team that takes guns out of their uniforms and kills all the other players on the other team, and then kills the referee, and then kills all the spectators, automatically wins.
Yeah. That's right.
So why are we celebrating anything? Because we already lost, because we're all dead, because the other team is the Republicans who've shot us all and we're dead.
It's true. I mean, because eventually all laws like get to a state in which they're just accepted norms.
Right.
And the side that does not accept the norms just will win. Like,
Yeah.
we have to agree upon the rules. And when one team is playing by one set of rules and the other team has like eaten the rule book,
Right.
then there's
Exactly.
you're not going to win by playing by the rules.
Shitting fire.
But then you get to the point, like I follow that logic down and I'm just like, well, then it's just war. That's really the next step.
I mean-
That's where this goes.
Well, so did you see? So you didn't see Vice? Did we talk about this already? Have you seen Vice? The movie Vice?
I did not see the
So
movie Vice.
something that Adam McKay character, who's quite the brain.
Yeah.
He identifies this thing called the unitary executive theory
Uh-huh.
in the movie. And I had never heard of it, but then I talked to my buddy Wilson, who was like a political science PhD, and he was like, "Yeah, I
And
wrote my
also
whole
beach
thesis
ball.
about that."
We've discussed this.
Oh, well, he's a volleyball, yeah.
volleyball.
I miss him. He floated away.
Yeah.
Wilson.
But he had some amazing things to say.
Well, I was trying to remove one of my teeth with an ice skate, and I cut my hand.
Right, as one does.
Yeah, and then I put my hand on a ball, and then I had a best friend.
Yeah.
I miss that guy.
Okay, so Wilson,
Oh, anyway, so I was talking to Wilson, and he's
very up to date on politics.
and he was like, "Oh yeah, the unitary executive theory." The thing is, what drives all these evil idiot assholes? They're not idiots. They have an evil vision, which is that the president of the United States has to have ultimate supreme power. They believe in like total executive power.
Yeah.
They don't believe in checks and balances. What
Yeah,
they believe in
that's
is
what William Barr
one
proved
man. Yeah, one man being unbelievably powerful, and that person being the president of the United States, who they can install because there are no more nations,
Yeah.
there are no more laws,
Sure.
there's only dollars, and there's corporations.
Okay.
There are no borders.
Right.
I'm turning into Ned Beatty from Network.
But so they basically just want but they have to think that this guy is a puppet, or else they don't want someone who isn't a puppet in that role. They don't want
Right.
the guy who's telling them what to do.
No, they need a useful idiot.
But they're wrong about Donald Trump. Is that he's not that. He's a fucking caged beast.
He's a conniving,
And he will destroy all of them.
and he is not dumb. He's just shallow.
That's a good distinction.
He's not at all dumb.
He's dumb by certain metrics.
He's a sociopath. He's an uncurious sociopath.
Right.
It's not that he's dumb. He just doesn't do his homework.
Right.
And he's not interested in knowing things.
But I don't think he could do his homework. Like his intelligence
We'll never know.
lies in a different realm.
Right. His
intelligence lies in being able to find weak people and manipulate them and make them think. I mean,
he's me in high school.
He's a con man.
He's a con man. I never did my homework. I just talked myself out of situations.
I doubt you were ever as successful as Donald Trump is.
That's true. I flatter myself to think Donald Trump was me in high school.
But no, he preys on people's weaknesses, right? Like I didn't read the Comey thing today, but I saw one quote from it.
You mean the Barr thing?
No, he wrote a op-ed for the New York Times.
He did? About Barr?
Or the Washington Post, about Barr. And he talks about how Donald Trump, like, eats your soul.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, he uses that phrase. Like, he gets you to admit to or to do one thing for him. And then, like, and before you know it, like, he's eaten your entire soul. And it was quite, like, the language.
Yeah.
Seemed quite appropriate.
What a turnaround for that guy. Him, like everyone who deals with Donald Trump eventually wakes up. Yeah. Comey turning around and being like, oh, wow, I've been sold a bill of goods by every, like, good old Republican I thought I knew.
I wonder if I'm curious about that. Are they, like, done with Republicans, or are they just like, this is an aberration of Republicanism?
Right.
Like, do they realize that it's always been a con?
Yeah, you look back at like Goldwater and all, exactly. Like they've been doing this shit, like states' rights. Yeah. It's all just hatred of black people and give rich people money. That's the entire Republican Party and has been for 60 years.
And there was a mystical time in the past in which things were better, and we need to just return to that, and everything will be fine.
Yeah.
But that's not.
But when was that exactly?
It's a lie. Yeah, it's not.
And they were only better for the people who are already millionaires.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, here's my question. So I was on, I guested on the Hanging with Old Lou podcast a few weeks ago.
Oh, awesome.
Those fine gentlemen. We had a really good conversation. But they were asking me about the 2020 field, and I wanted to get into this with you on something you posted on Facebook.
It's got a lot of traction.
I have not checked it out lately, but I was popping back to it.
I appreciated your comment.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about. There's a move among Democrats right now for unity, like in the field of candidates, which I absolutely agree that if everyone must get behind the candidate who ends up being the candidate. But my first question is, are there laws? Are we just fooling ourselves by even looking at candidates, like by even like going into this with the notion that this will be a contest of some sort, featuring a protagonist and an antagonist, and one will be triumphant, like
and one will abdicate.
Yeah,
watch Venezuela. Because everyone's watching Venezuela because it's a rehearsal.
Because that's what we're
for January 2021. Yeah, because Trump will not give up, will not leave office, and then the people will be run over by tanks.
Right. Yes.
Or military trucks.
That seems accurate to me.
Yeah.
So that's point one.
Like, why should anyone run against him?
Yeah, almost. I mean,
or is it a charade? Like, what shouldn't we call it a charade while we're participating in the charade?
There you go. That exactly. That to me feels like the way to do it. Like to just be very vocal right now.
Yes.
And be like, here's all the shit that could go down.
Yeah.
Like, remember those poll watchers? Like, he could say, the Democrats are fixing to steal the election. I need people with machine guns to go to every poll site.
Yeah.
That could happen in our country.
Exactly. And they need to be saying out front all his maneuvers. They have to say, watch for when Trump says blank.
Yes.
And be like loud about it.
Nip him in the bud instead of always
being on their back foot.
Deflecting. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And responding.
Yeah.
So that's one question. But so then, like, for me, in that respect, I'm kind of like, well, I like a good deal of the candidates, but the one that I'm going to really like and who's going to win is the one who's going to call that bullshit out.
Right.
And I haven't seen anyone do that yet.
Elizabeth Warren is getting there. I am very impressed with everything except what she does on the hustings.
What's the hosting? What is
That's
that?
when you give speeches.
Oh.
She's just not an orator.
You know, she's getting better though.
She's getting sort of better.
She's rehearsed. That's my problem with Elizabeth
Yeah.
Warren, is that she's very like, when she goes into a place and she has to speak off the cuff, I find her
That's where.
to be very like, she pivots back to a story that I've heard before.
Mm-hmm.
It's very politician-y.
She was on Colbert, and he asked her, he tossed her a softball, and then she free associated for like 5 minutes.
Ooh.
From like talking point to soundbite to soundbite to soundbite.
Yeah.
And I was like, just be
a person. I
Just
know.
be a person.
I know.
Just be a person.
I know.
Although, I'm all for an economics professor being
I know.
like
She's
a nerdy.
clearly very smart.
Yeah.
But she's
that's how
going
the Berlin
up
Wall
against...
fell. You know that?
No.
In Budapest, or Hungary rather, they elected an Elizabeth Warren, like economics professor, to be
Is
the
that the
prime
Velvet
minister.
Revolution? Václav Havel?
No, that
what
was
we're talking about?
that was Czech. That was next door in the Czech Republic.
Got
But no, he was like, he looked at the budgets and he was like, why are we paying to guard this border with Austria? I think we should probably just unman those stations. And then word got out, and then all the East Germans ran across the border, and the Berlin Wall fell.
Amazing. And Ronald Reagan took credit for all of it.
Yep.
It was all me.
It was
The
some
Gipper.
guy with an unpronounceable last name who
Amazing.
was a professor in Hungary, in Budapest.
Amazing. I did not know that story. Thank you
I
for
saw a
enlightening
documentary
us.
about it.
So what was my other point? Oh, so my other point is, I would love to hear the argument in favor of unity, in that I feel like it's okay to get a little bloody in a primary, personally.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I mean, because it's a contest of ideas, or should be.
Sure.
Even Rachel Maddow was saying you should vote your heart in the primary and your head in the general, and I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
But there are all these beige lovers, great lovers of the color motherfucking beige, who are like, if I hear a single policy proposal,
does that mean Joe Biden? Is that who you're talking about?
well,
Joe Biden fans?
are there?
We're not criticizing.
Oh no, are there any yet?
I don't know. I mean, I think he's quote unquote leading the pack, but I think people,
But that's the media narrative.
yeah, people put far too much
and
stock in that.
Bernie Sanders has the most money. And so I posted that thing on Facebook about how like I was feeling a little ambivalent about Bernie Sanders because he's 109 years old.
Yeah.
And I've also had it with baby boomers being in charge. I never want to hear from that generation again. But the response, which was very robust, there was a long thread of lots of people getting passionate. There is much more continued Bernie love and support than I realized there was. I thought everyone was feeling like me, where they're like, yeah, sure, I mean, I love the guy, and he was my first love.
Right.
And it's the first time I've ever heard anyone say anything that I believe the last cycle. But isn't he kind of old? So I'm gonna vote for the Bernie Jr., whoever that's going to be. Whoever is the most Bernie-like who isn't 100.
Yeah, no, I there was some outpouring of love for Bernie. There were a few responses, like, to me, the response, like, I'm a Bernie guy, but whoever wins, like, good on him. Like, that's a great response. There are a couple of people who are like, yeah, we all got to go in for Bernie right now. Like, what the fuck are we doing, America? And that's a little troubling to me.
But they can be like that until he wins or loses. And if he loses, I mean, as long as they're like, okay, well, now we just have to beat Trump.
Right.
Like, I feel like we can bang the drum as hard as should bang the drum as hard as we want in the primary.
Sure.
For our guy. And then in the general, but the problem is, like, the beige lovers of the fact that Hillary Clinton never proposed a single thing.
She proposed a lot of things.
Did she, though?
Did you ever look at her website?
You have to go to her fucking website to hear it?
I'm just saying.
No.
I'm just saying that's a media narrative,
And then it's
too,
no.
that she didn't propose anything.
I can't remember a single thing she ever said.
Well, that's your problem, dude.
No, that's
She
not
got
my problem.
3
That's her
million
problem.
votes more than Donald Trump.
She should have said something
She
where
won
it
the
should
fucking
have been
popular
like.
election.
But she said
A lot of people voted for her.
she was an
We all
unpopular.
voted for her.
She walked in. She waltzed in. She was like.
I'm gonna agree with you that she wasn't like she didn't have like she had problems.
You to be president of the United States, you have to get the job. You can't just gonna be good at the job.
That's
you have
fine.
to eat
That's fine.
lightning and
That's
crap
fine.
thunder.
That's fair. But I think it's unfair to say that she had no policy proposals. Like,
Did you have any policy proposals?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what they were either.
They were all very centrist. They were all very no free college. Wall Street's going to still do fine.
Liberal platform in American history.
I want to be wrong, Jeff. I want to be wrong.
We'll have to go back.
I want to
go
be
back
wrong.
and see.
Is it still up?
We'll have to go back and
You know,
see.
Dole Camp 96 is still up?
Is it really?
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. Keep going. I feel very like like the Hillary Clinton thing to me is like I'm like I think she would have been fine. Like that was always sort of my opinion on her, but I had no like hatred for her, and I feel like there are a lot of people who are like she's evil, and even people who like ended up voting for her are like I still kind of think she's evil. I feel like you're one of those people.
I don't.
Still
It's not
kinda
that.
think
It's a
she's
distinction.
evil.
I don't think she's evil
Yeah.
at all. I think she would have been an incredible president, and that would have been great. What I think is pretty horrible is neoliberalism.
Sure.
Which she and which Bill Clinton, no relation, perhaps,
Yeah.
was the sort of the crown jewel of.
Definitely.
And the welfare for all that kind of stuff. So so they're she's not progressive. She's not a progressive.
She had a problematic past.
And then also she was like, it's my turn. Everyone sit this one out.
Right.
And then everyone sat it out. And then she was like, oh, I'm not actually very good at being a candidate.
She was part of a machine.
And then she didn't go to, she didn't. She was part of a machine. And the DNC and Debbie Wasserman Schultz and the whole thing, like it was just, there was so much fucking hubris that I am bullshit about it.
There is hubris.
And then
I'll agree with
and they're not, and if Tom Perez like isn't learning the lesson from this, I don't know, I just don't know what to do. There's so much there's so much hypocritical middle class comfort in the fucking in the left side of the country that it makes me insane.
There's a lot of like NIMBYism.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like the problem with
no one wants
a big chunk of the Democratic Party. But it's also like not. I mean, it's a big tent. It's like we're not lockstep. That's like you're not gonna.
I believe in having a big tent.
That's good. That's good that we're not lockstep.
But my love of Bernie Sanders was I was under attack the last time around, from Hillary supporters who were incredibly aggressive and aggressively telling me about all the Bernie bros and stuff like that. I personally have never encountered a Bernie
Like
bro.
hundreds of people. Like how many people did you hear this?
I can
from?
think of like 7 or 8 very
7 or 8 people.
virulent centrists who would
For
like,
that, you're
come
judging.
at me.
You're judging the entire. You're judging everything. 7 or 8 people friends that you had who were assholes.
Yeah.
You have 7 or 8 asshole friends, and it made that big of an impact on you.
Isn't this funny? And this is democracy. The loudest minority gets what they want.
See, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I mean, I supported Hillary. I thought she was fine, like, again. But I didn't feel like I can understand why you would love Bernie, too. Like, I feel like, it was very, like, up until the, I was like, I wanted to love Bernie more than I did. I feel like there was so much about him that I agreed with, but I also just like, I don't know. I never knew like whether I feel like there's another shoe to drop with Bernie, and that's what I worry about this time around too.
That's interesting. I for some reason just feel like he's just the real deal and has been since the 60s. And I don't understand why his fellow movement 60s people aren't like finally our guy, and instead they're like, no thanks. I'd rather have somebody who doesn't believe in what we believe in and is much further to the right.
Yeah, no, they're all shattered humans.
I have to confess something. Can I?
Please.
Not confess, but chew on something, and it kind of has to do with what we're talking about. This is the rant I had in the chamber.
Chew.
Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Do you have something to move forward, or do you feel antsy about moving forward?
No, I don't.
So this weekend.
Yes.
Is the 50th anniversary of the Walk for Hunger, which is the pledge walk that my father started.
Yes.
And
I saw that you
invented the
had
walk.
given a speech, which was
I did, yeah.
Very impressive.
Oh, thank you.
How many people were attended this speech?
Oh, I don't know, 300.
Wow. How'd that feel?
It was okay.
Did you feel like weird about that?
Speaking about my dad?
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't feel weird about speaking. I've got 10,000 hours in front of a crowd, but speaking about my dad, I feel very private about like anything vulnerable in that department.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oscar 2 weeks ago turned the age that I was to the day when my dad died.
Oof.
And so now I don't have a script from here forward.
Yeah.
As a dad, you know what I mean? Like it's like a different thing.
Oh, that's got to be psychologically like some kind of that's interesting.
It's a thing.
A therapist should.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Okay.
And I look at him, and he is obsessed with me and loves me right now. And so to think of me perishing right now would completely do him in for life, because he's just in a phase of like just loving his dad.
Yeah. As well he should. You're a lovely human.
Oh, you're kind.
Yes.
So anyway, so I'm going back and we're doing the walk. Yeah, and I gave a speech and so, but the walk is this Sunday. And so we're going to be in the VIP tent and the mayor and shaking hands and taking pictures and all this kind of stuff. And great, this is fabulous. And this organization's been around. He founded this nonprofit called Project Bread. Right. And it feeds X thousand hungry people every year.
Amazing.
Raises awareness of the fact that there are hungry people in Massachusetts who are like hungry, who are like skipping meals and having a hard time. And they have these guys doing testimonials where it's like, I was fired, we were still both working, but food, we paid all our bills and then we had nothing left for food, and that's when Project Bread, they made it easy and blah, 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 blah. It's great. It's wonderful. Everything about this is wonderful.
Yes.
But.
Oh, there's a but.
There's a but.
Okay.
This morning, my mother forwarded an email that she received to the family, my sister, my brother, and I, and our spouses. That said, that was from an old guy she knew from the movement. That said, we are staging an action at the walk on Sunday because Project Bread's biggest sponsor is Raytheon.
Oh.
Which is located in Boston, and we had never looked into like where are you guys getting your money? You know what I mean?
Right.
And here's what's problematic about Raytheon.
Yes.
The issue, Project Bread, is about hunger.
Yeah.
Hunger awareness, fighting hunger. Raytheon sells weapons to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia wages war on Yemen.
Yeah.
Yemen has a famine because of this war, which is helped along by the weapons that are built by Raytheon, which then gives money so that Raytheon is directly creating famine. And also cloaking themselves in sort of publicity of public warmth by giving money to my dad's nonprofit.
Wow.
And he, of course, never would have taken their money. He would have, in his short life, protested outside the Raytheon building in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Like, literally with his feet was out there. And he would have been like, you want to give me money? Kindly go fuck yourselves.
Yeah.
Definitely, like without a second thought. And so...
But no one in your family is involved in the organization any longer?
No.
Okay.
No, it's just a whole thing, and so there are several executive directors in. Okay. And so there's a press
paid well?
Exactly. Who knows?
Yeah.
But to some extent, exactly.
It's become one of those.
Could it? I mean, did it? That's a big question, right? Like, they have their staffers. Their staffers, I'm sure, eat in restaurants. I'm sure they should. They don't have to be Mother Teresa. They need to afford apartments near Boston, at least, where they have their jobs to some extent. I mean, like, there's a certain whatever. Yeah. And, the question is, would it attract blah, blah, blah? You need to, like, these people go to law school and then run nonprofits, like they see all their friends going to the opera every Tuesday, or I don't know, blah, 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 blah. I think that the nonprofits and foundations and the whole thing in the United States are completely corrupt because of things like this, where they're like, sure, we'll take your money and not even bat an eye. And
you have to sustain the organization.
That's it.
By getting money.
And this is the Shirky principle. Do you know what have we talked about this on the air?
I'm sure.
The Shirky principle is,
the organization lives to...
It perpetuates the problem it purports to solve.
Okay.
And I always thought Project Bread wasn't this until this morning. So my mom
that's tough.
Yeah. So my mom called the executive director. We're issuing a family statement, et cetera, et cetera. But we had like a big conference call this morning, and my blood has been a rolling boil all day. Because the more I thought, at first I was like, well, let's not make waves, and this sounds like their problem, and we'll figure it out. But the more I thought about it, I was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like,
you're like pawns in their game now.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm supposed to lend them my likeness and take a picture with the mayor so that they can then be like, look, Like, we're still anointed.
Poor Brandon has to take a picture with the mayor.
The mayor's just a fucking kid. It's It's, in Boston, it's different.
Yeah.
It's just, I think you might have even gone to my high school, or I think my sister-in-law was from. He's just like fucking Marty. It's different there.
Okay.
But in any case, they do I have Emily and Oscar with and our likenesses used to basically cloak Raytheon in a glow of warmth so they can continue to starve people in Yemen. So anyway, we're drafting a statement.
One
all
of
day,
you
but
needs
I'm
to
very
burn
conflicted.
yourself. One of you needs to cover yourself with oil.
Oh
Light
yeah,
yourself
self-immolation.
Set yourself on fire.
That's a great idea.
That's the only way to do it. Which member of your family will be least missed?
Me, definitely me. I've lived in California for 13 years, for Christ's sake.
They barely know you're here.
Exactly.
Well, Brendan, it's been good knowing you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Burn them in effigy. What can you do? Can you pull some kind of a Yes Men style prank?
I was thinking that where if they give me the microphone, I'll be like, and the Project Bread has severed all ties with Raytheon.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And then they have to walk that back, and they're like, well, I guess we can't walk it back because I'm sure the board is filled with these like middle class yahoos who would just rather this thing,
hero.
right?
I love
it. The middle class yahoos just want this to be a pageant of faux concern,
right?
But instead, and Raytheon has a tent at the thing.
Oh my gosh.
Like there's a thing. So there's a VIP tent, there's the stage, there's the dais, there's the balloon arch, and then there's the fucking Raytheon tent.
Oh my gosh.
And so, they fuck Raytheon.
Are there other problematic donors to this organization?
No, the rest are banks. I mean, they're banks.
Right.
So they're foreclosing on everybody too,
Sure.
and also creating the hunger issues.
Right.
It's like 5 banks you've never heard of.
Oh, well, if they're a bank you've never heard of, then they might be okay.
Well, State Street, I don't know. Yeah, so in any case, So it's like,
wow. That's the rant. Is there? Do you need advice besides burning yourself in effigy or
I like that.
self-immolation?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do I do? Do I just have a sourpuss the whole time?
Oh God, it's tough. How do you release a family statement? Can anyone release a family statement? I want to release a family statement.
I know, right? Yeah, you should issue press releases now and then.
Yeah. What are you saying? Like you're gonna say?
We've been drafting it all day, but it's sort of like we agree with the call for Project Bread to sever all ties with Raytheon.
Oh, wow.
And like our dad, blah blah blah, and he spent his life fighting corporations that profited off of suffering. Raytheon is one of those companies.
Wow.
Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then you do what with it?
Send it to a reporter.
Okay.
Or there's a press conference tomorrow, so we might also just send it to the activists, and they'll include it in their shit.
Wow.
They're having the press conference, so we can be a part of that.
Wow, you get to be a part of something.
I know.
You're making a difference.
I hope. I mean, I feel like we have leverage right now because we're not involved every year. It's just the 50th walk. That's why they involve the founder's family.
Right.
But it's now so therefore we have their ear, and we can be like, guys, fire whoever you need to. All you guys do is like, I mean, I'm sure you have it. They actually are. Here's the worst part. They're wonderful people at
Raytheon?
Project Bread. No, at Project
okay.
Bread. At Project Bread, they're awesome. They're all great. They're really friendly. And the woman who runs it just took over.
Oh wow!
But it's a good
got a PR
time.
disaster on
Now
her
she's got a
hands.
PR disaster on her hands, coming from my family.
Can you talk to her directly?
Yeah,
Potentially.
I think my mom is handling that.
Okay.
And my mom is a
Mary Ann.
Yeah, she's a
Making it happen.
activist of old, so she knows
Yeah.
what she's doing here.
Do they make batteries, Raytheon?
They make weapons
Just weapons?
for the Pentagon.
Purely weapons?
I think they also make chemicals that
I'm
are
thinking
put into
Rayovac.
weapons. Oh, Rayovac, yeah. Oh, yeah. With the lightning bolts.
Yes. Exactly.
Black and red with a cat.
Because I was going to say maybe you fill your house full of Rayovac, all the fire alarms full of Rayovac batteries, and then you burn your house down. And then that creates a PR disaster for
That's
them.
some loot cakes.
Yeah.
Thank you
Wow.
for listening. I've been bursting with this all day.
It's upsetting. Well, I mean, that story that is a good way of you have a famous piece of advice which I've used very recently to never tell a story in which you are a hero, but you just told a story in which you are the hero in a very sly way, and you did not intend it as such, and that I commend you for doing
thank you.
that.
I could be the hero if I don't wimp out.
Well, that's the way you tell the story. Like if you run into a building and save 10 children, like you talk about how your shoes like the soles of your shoes fell off or something like that, right?
Okay,
You're like, oh, dumb me. I could have saved 11, but I didn't tie my shoes that morning.
Oh, right. It's the aw shucks thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Huh.
Yeah, one kid has to burn for your story.
Speaking of
to
melting
be decent.
Speaking of melting shoes, I cannot wait for
terrible.
Chernobyl.
Oh my God, it looks good.
Yeah. Thank you for listening, Jeffrey.
You're
a good friend.
welcome.
You're
It's
a
a
good man.
fantastic. I mean, what a cool thing for your dad to have been a part of, and for you to now be a part of. And
It's nice to have him as a bellwether too, in terms of like
Yeah.
what to do in this situation. Like, there's no doubt what his reaction would be. So it's easy to have a reaction.
let me think. Could you like stand on the roof and like throw loaves of bread off the building at Raytheon employees or something? Is there like something?
Yeah. Oh, they'll have a big team building thing. They raised a lot of money and sponsors. They have T-shirts, it'll be like, hey, it's the Raytheon gang. They're all walking together. Yeah, everybody.
Now they form into a Voltron
AR-15
AR-15 or something
Exactly.
together.
Voltron AR-15.
Okay, let's move on to a quick leisure class.
Oh, leisure class.
Yeah.
Come on, everybody. We're going to school. Now it's time to find out what Dad thinks is cool. It's leisure class. Dad Jean's leisure class.
We are for the first time ever. Brendan has hooked it up so that we are playing these live. Usually he edits the theme songs in afterwards.
Yep, that's true.
But right now he's doing it live, and I really want to put in some like whoop, beep beep beep, like those kinds of noises that you can like like can we do some like sound effects?
We now totally can
during the episodes.
You mean, so like when we talk about erections, like like, just basically turn it to Howard
I think
Stern.
we could make this like we could single-handedly in one move like take this to the next level.
You are not wrong, my friend.
Just with a little boing. That would be amazing. So leisure class, this is the segment in which we talk about things that we're into that's cool. I have a couple of things.
I'd like to hear about
I'd like to start with Russian Doll. Have you watched this yet?
No, but I love Natasha
You
Lyonne.
must watch it.
Oh, really?
It is completely written and directed by women.
Oh, cool.
And it is fascinating to see, like, that is such a rare thing.
Yeah.
And the way that this show unspools, first of all, it's like a masterpiece. Like, it's if in a different media landscape, this would be like the best thing to happen in like a decade in media.
Oh, awesome.
You would be like, oh my God, it's amazing. But now it's just like the thing that was on Netflix a couple weeks ago that you forgot about.
Because there have been 19 shows.
Because there have been 20 other, new, like, amazing things that you have to watch. It's really well done. The nuances, like, every character can have one line, and it's a fully developed character. Wow. It's fascinating. Like, you're watching it, and you're just like, whoa, that's a real person. Like, a guy walks into a...
Oh, maybe that's the difference.
Yeah, it's just so, like, like, the characters are so rich. Like, a guy walks into a bodega and he's like, "Hey, where's your cat food?" And you're like, "That guy, I know what that guy's doing. That guy's entire backstory is fascinating now."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that is great. Love that. Natasha Lyonne is fantastic in it. It takes some twists that you just never would see coming. Like, it's sort of the initial premise is sort of, you're like, okay, I get this premise. How are they going to take this anywhere? And it goes in completely different ways, and it ends up being like this just perfect exploration of human behavior.
Wow.
It's fantastic. Number 2, I Think You Should Leave. Have you seen this? This is getting a lot of raves. It's another
You
Netflix
sent us,
thing.
it's like a sketch comedy deal?
It's a sketch comedy thing, yeah. There's like 6 episodes. They're usually like 18 minutes long, so you can just breeze through it.
Oh, excellent.
And it's just like super uncomfortable comedy. And
I love that shit.
Highly recommended. And then... you and I have been passing this back and forth. Billie Eilish.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is, I'm sure
That album is
everyone
so
probably knows who
fucking
this
good.
is. It's so good. She's a 17-year-old girl. She makes music in her
16.
16.
Yeah.
What do you know? In her the childhood home she grew up with in your neighborhood, I believe, Highland Park.
Yep. It's less than a mile from
She's
where
a
we sit
parkie.
right now.
That's amazing.
Parquet. It's parquet.
She's a parquet parkour. Parky Pete? I don't know. Parker Lewis can't lose? What? But she releases this album, and I don't know if this is happening out there in the world. I don't know what the kids are up to nowadays. But to me, like, I heard this record for the first time, and I'm like, this is like the Nirvana moment that we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
In which all of a sudden, like, fucking, what's her name? Chipmunk face. Taylor Swift. Taylor Dane?
Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Dane. Let's go Dane. I like
Taylor Dane is suddenly totally irrelevant. No, Taylor Swift is like suddenly looks like a dinosaur, like compared to this girl.
Yeah, because she's doing this weird horror thing.
Yeah, it's
like
it's
like the drinking the black liquid and then it comes out of her eyes and all this stuff. Have you watched her videos?
I have. They're super creepy.
And the idea of like a 16-year-old girl like going super creep horror.
Yeah.
And like just being kind of like a scary omnipotent force.
Yeah.
Is brilliant.
Oh, she's so badass.
Because it's so much better than the Taylor Swift candy pop.
Yes,
thing.
totally.
You know?
She's nobody's pawn.
Yeah, and she's not
trying to be
toying
sexy
with the male
she dresses
gaze.
in like
she's not
snowboarding outfits.
Her outfits are incredible.
Yeah, she's amazing. And like, but she's not. Her music is not that. I mean, it's not like it's like Marilyn Manson-esque theatrics, sort of.
Yeah.
But her music is super relatable, very like tongue in cheek, like really funny, like
Wish You Were Gay. Great song.
So good. Just like her voice is so beautiful, and it's just like doing weird things. Like she's doing like this weird mashup of like old like flapper jazz.
Yeah.
With like right like with like hip hop and like It's just like such a unique sound.
And we should mention her brother Phineas, who is the musical.
Yeah, he does. He makes He makes the music. Well, I'm unclear on that. Like she sings, and does she write the lyrics as well?
Yeah, I think they write the lyrics. I think he's on the ones and twos, and she is on the vox.
Okay, and she doesn't play any.
Not that I'm aware of. I've watched some live stuff, and she does. But they co-write the lyrics, from what I understand.
She'll just start singing along to his like stuff.
Yeah.
No, there's definitely I know she created one of the beats on the album because I heard a behind the music thing with him.
Oh, maybe they both do it.
Where he's like, yeah, she came up with this beat, and I was like, we need to do something with that.
Yeah.
For that one song where she goes, duh. What is that?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm the bad guy.
Oh yeah.
Duh.
Or the song "Bury a Friend." I think that's my favorite on the album.
That's a good song. Yeah.
And it has just that throbbing.
Yeah.
Like you've heard it a million times, but then it's like the Personal Jesus beat.
Yes.
But does something completely fucked up with it.
Yeah. I'm really just in awe of her,
too.
and I hope that she just completely reinvents the pop landscape.
Yeah.
Because I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this candy pop shit.
Yeah. I hope that her she has I have it on good authority that she has good people around her, like her parents and
keeping
people
her
like
level-headed.
that. Keeping her level-headed, because this would be very scary for like a 16-year-old to.
Oh, she headlined Coachella.
Yeah, right. Did you watch that?
I didn't.
Oh, it was fucking sick.
But she's
sick.
I should watch it. She seems very to be taking it all in stride. Like,
yeah. Well, hopefully that's
she seems very confident and sure of herself. And
anyone who goes in the music business, though, like immediately the chuds come at them with like heroin needles. You know what I mean? Like you just have to, she needs a parent with like a wiffle bat, just batting away the heroin chuds, and everything else. You know, because like they're all just like coming at you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And she's in the music industry is such a fucking evil place.
This is so evil. I hope she keeps.
So I hope she keep
control of
keep
things.
It real.
Yeah. Yep. Excellent. Do you have any leisure class? Anything you're into?
Have you read the book Go to Lescherbach?
Yes, I've tried to read that a million times and have never gotten that far.
I'm on my third attempt.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Could we read it together? I would be like, I like having a friend to read a thing with, because
especially this is like Gravity's Rainbow level weird, crazy.
It really like goes out there.
Yeah.
But have you gleaned anything interesting yet?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm only mostly in the beginning, but all the stuff about Bach sitting down with Frederick II and Frederick II being like, do a canon with 6 layers. So that's like, imagine row your boat, but the second round, so the round, but 6 times, and they all have to be different melodies, but not exactly different. They can be inversions of the first melody,
right.
or they can be faster or slower, or higher or lower, or like a fifth above or a third above.
Right.
And so every time you reuse a note, it has to stand on its own as a melody note, but then it has to be reused as a harmonic.
It's like
and then
writing
eventually
a
6
code
times.
in real time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, and the example the author uses is that this is like playing 60 games of chess blindfolded and winning all of them.
Wow.
Where Frederick II is like, give me a cannon with 6 layers, or whatever the phrasing is. And he's
Yeah.
like, okay. And he sits down and like goes nuts.
There was a thing on
Shreds.
it was name an NPR show that's like people just telling stories that isn't This American Life.
Radiohead.
No, not Radio Lab.
No, wait, don't tell me. It's the one that the guy, the dude, Washington, something Washington.
Yes.
Glenn Washington hosts.
Yeah.
This is Snap Judgment.
Snap Judgment. There you go.
Yeah.
There's a story I came into the middle of the other day in which a guy sustained a head injury in Afghanistan or someplace like that, and then suddenly he could play the piano perfectly.
Oh my God.
And it's like they have him playing, and he's just like incredible pianist, and he's like, I don't even know what, like, he can't read music, he's never learned a piece of music, but he just sits at the piano, and something in his head says, here's how you like, he's like robotically controlled by his brain. He's like,
That's insane.
yeah. And like, what
keeps us stupid?
I feel like that is not, it's magic. Like there's something deeper in the universe if that can happen to a person.
Yeah.
That's not just
Yes.
a wire gets rejiggered in your head.
Yeah. Yeah, like autistic savants.
Yeah. You can suddenly do a skill that you've never been able to do before perfectly. Like,
Right.
how that's some kind of universal life force that's happening to you.
Some shit's going on. Well, here's the thing, Jeff.
Yeah.
The universe happens as you.
Say more.
Well, there are 4 layers of consciousness, Jeffrey.
Okay.
The one is that the universe is happening to me.
Mm-hmm.
The other, and the next one down, is the universe. I happen to the universe.
Mm-hmm.
The third is the universe happens through me.
Okay.
And the fourth is the universe happens as me.
Are those hierarchical?
Yeah, as me is the most enlightened.
Is the most enlightened. What does that mean?
So
I understand the
happens
other three,
to
I
me,
think.
egotistical scumbag.
Yeah.
I happen to it, also egotistical scumbag.
Yeah.
Happens through me, eats tofu, does yoga.
Yeah.
But hasn't really been
You're
to the
kind of
promised
adrift
land.
in the world, though.
You're
Right
kind
there.
of
You got
happens
no.
through me, but there's still a me involved. You know what I
Right,
mean?
okay.
And it's like, and the universe, you are a child of the universe, runs up, puts a gold star on your forehead. Those
You hate
people
those
fucking
motherfuckers.
hate those hippy
Yeah.
dippy motherfuckers because it's just disingenuous. And then
Yeah.
there is the universe happens as me. And here's the thing, Jeff: if it happens as me, it happens as you too, and it happens as people who don't use their turn signal also, and it happens as Donald Trump. And it happens as Jared Kushner.
I still don't know if I'm enlightened enough to get it.
Neither am I.
We're all clearly in the universe together. I won't deny that.
But
Jared's out there.
Isn't the universe in all of us together?
I don't know, man. I don't think there's any morality. This is a sad thing, that realization that I've come to as an older person. Like, I think all morals are just useless. Like, and therefore,
Like a
like, I
thin
feel
veneer.
like the evil, the people like Donald Trump who are just taking what they can get, like, might be actually superior to the rest of us.
Laws of the
Who
jungle.
feel like we're bound by these rules of decorum.
That humanity had a brief blip of almost order, but then
Yeah.
it got subsumed back into chaos.
And it was never really, I mean, you know, like fucking Project Bread, dude. Like, that's a tiny microcosm of things happening everywhere in the
It
world.
is, because if you're a part of the solution, you're a part of the problem.
There you go.
And that is the problem.
Let's move on to Spike Club.
Spike Club.
Sorry, I just screamed that.
Oh, no, I love it. Spike Club.
I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! Spy Club! I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! Spy Club! Fuck!
I have a thing I'd like to say. Everyone who uses this means it genuinely.
Yeah.
And this is something that affects all of us, and we're all suffering quite a bit, I'm sure, from this. But there's no more useless a sentiment in the world than fuck cancer.
Oh, wow.
Here's my response to the phrase.
Controversial.
You are everyone on social media.
Yeah.
So I'd like you to say, in the form of a verbal hashtag, fuck cancer, and I'll respond the way I'd like to respond.
Fuck cancer.
Durr. That's my response.
Oh, now I feel broken.
Guess what did that to you? Not me. Cancer did that to you.
Cancer. It's not. Like, what is cancer like? Feeling like, oh, geez, everyone's against me. What should I do?
Yeah, exactly.
Cancer's walking through the world.
Does cancer have a chance of being anything other than fuck cancer?
Right.
Like, that's just a way for us all to. I don't even know exactly what that accomplishes.
Sure. It's like when people defend retards.
I don't know why.
Sorry.
I don't know why this drives me so crazy.
Can we
bleep?
that?
Can we edit that out? Oh wait, I get it.
No, we don't. We don't have to. We don't have to.
But it makes me very upset. I don't know why. Why?
Why?
Because of course, yes, fuck cancer. Whoever said it, whoever's doing it, like they're saying like my aunt's brain tumor. You know this. I
Right.
love this woman and fuck cancer. Or whatever. I'm like, yeah, or hashtag fuck cancer or whatever it is. But I'm sort of like. That doesn't really do, it just doesn't do anything. It just sits there.
Right.
But if they said Howard Schultz's cancer.
Yeah. Then
Or-
you're all for it.
Or if they said my aunt's brain tumor
Oh, fuck Howard Schultz.
it is actually the existence of billionaires.
See, that's clever.
And you're like, billionaires never bothered me. But, oh wait, billionaires are cancer, huh?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh wait, maybe billionaires are kind of a cancer.
Oh, you're contributing to the dialogue.
Something is the needle's moving somewhere.
Yeah. I'll tell you. Can I tell you when you say that, like a couple of things that I feel, which is this is why I might see it as being an annoying thing.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, yes, cancer doesn't give a shit.
Cancer doesn't give a shit.
Number two, there's a certain aesthetic, or there's a certain thing that happens to people where we like identify as our disease, right? Like,
And as our obstacles.
yeah,
Yes.
yes,
Yep.
and that's a very noble American thing. Like, you're almost like there's like pride in having cancer, but it takes this form of like, I'm gonna beat you, but it's like. It's also like, I have cancer. Like, that's what you're saying in that statement every time, you know, like, and it's like a way of gaining like attention. Like, God forbid either of us ever gets cancer. This is a horrible thing to say, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it becomes a distinctive force in you. And it's almost like you're not really saying fuck cancer because you're like praising it at the same time.
Yeah. There's something just a little off and wrong. It's dimensionally, it's going in the wrong direction, and
Yeah.
I can't. And it's hard to explain exactly what it is. Here's part of the issue: we're just thinking about cancer wrong, and that like making it yes, it's an enemy, and making it an enemy, but like that gives it power. It
Right.
gives it much more power than it takes from it.
Sure.
In a weird way.
Yeah.
Cancer, by the way, is the human body's attempt at becoming immortal. Did you know that?
Nope.
I read this in a book. Because it's cells forgetting how to die, basically.
Oh.
And so all cells have these alleles, and every time a cell reproduces, the allele gets shorter. And then when it gets like a wick of a candle, and when the allele gets to a certain shortness, that cell does not reproduce. And then it's done. But cancer is when the cells forget to die, and they just keep reproducing.
Wow. So if we
And-
harnessed cancer,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
very powerful.
Right, exactly.
So
And that's,
maybe it should be hashtag learn from cancer.
yeah, hashtag, yeah. I mean, something like that. I'm not sitting here defending like cancer per se, but
No.
and all the suffering it's caused everybody in the world.
Sure.
However, it has to be. Let's be smart about it. Let's not be pep rally
Right.
about something that requires like intellect and
Yeah.
and the right use of resources, and not like another way that social media is, if you'll forgive the phrase, a cancer.
Oh, look at that. You tied it all back.
Thank you.
Tied it all up with a neat little bow.
Thank you.
I'm with you on that. That's annoying.
Is this a dark episode?
Yeah, I think so. It's good.
Is it because we're talking so softly?
I
Because
think
it's
it's
such a
fun dark.
reverby room.
I do feel a little like the energy is harder for me to.
Same.
There's a little bit of, but it hasn't been a bad energy.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a lot of back and forth here.
Indeed.
It's a little more quippy, I think, than normal.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I'm having a harder time catching my breath
Oh.
in this environment because I'm
I
like
blame
I
myself.
don't want to pause anything and let the air suffocate us.
Let's do it now. Did you just fart?
God damn it. They heard it. They heard it. Fuck. Everybody heard it. That's like an NPR, like outro song. I love that one. My Spike Club is going to go back to newspapers a little bit. Edgy liberals.
Oh.
I am done with fucking edgy liberals who, like the whole like scum liberal or whatever they're called, the guys who do
Chapo
Trap House.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's just like they're like nothing's ever good enough. Like everything's like there. It's like if anyone like Ilhan Omar, like if you're defending Ilhan Omar, they're like she's not that great.
Oh, that's too much.
That kind of
Yeah. So there's Emily would describe this as a very Swarthmore approach to the world.
Oh, really?
Because she
It's
went to Swarthmore.
contrarian. It's just everything.
Contrarian.
It's against everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you fucking for?
Yep.
And then when you get the thing that, like what you were saying with Bernie, like your like living embodiment of your dreams is standing right there.
Yeah.
Like, what are you fucking doing about it? Like that kind of thing.
It's the old rabbi joke.
Yeah.
About the rabbi on the roof of his house while the flood's happening. You know that joke?
No.
Where the rabbi it's a flood. The rabbi's sitting on his roof. And a person comes by in a boat, and they're like, "Rabbi, get in our boat. What are you doing? You're going to drown." And the rabbi's like, "God will protect me." And the boat leaves, and then a person in a bathtub rows by and is like, "Rabbi, get in the bathtub. What are you doing?" And he's like, "God will protect me." This is a rabbinical...
Is this joke almost over? Sorry, keep going.
I understand. This is a joke
It's good.
told in synagogues.
It's good.
It's not a joke like at the expense of people who are
the
rabbis.
Jews.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So no, this was told to me by a rabbi.
Okay.
And then he goes to heaven, and he's like, "What? I died. I drowned. Why didn't you protect me, God?" And God says, "I sent you a boat, and I sent you a bathtub, etc."
there you go.
So it's a parable.
Amazing.
The point being,
What does that have to do with what I
Bernie
was saying?
fucking Sanders
Yeah,
is
that's
the bathtub.
Well, that's what it's just like, it's just like, it's just cynicism as a thing.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it to be done. Mm-hmm. I'm done with cynicism. It's just like, you're part of the problem. Mm-hmm. You're just contributing. Like, if nothing's ever good enough, then just like, like sometimes you got to like go with the thing that is good enough and make it better. Like, what?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that approach to life?
Amen.
Like, we're going to make this mediocre thing into shine. Let's
Yeah.
put on a show, motherfuckers.
That's another thing. And we have to have a different look at mediocrity.
Oh, yes.
I think it's the suspicion of mediocrity that could be holding us on the left back. You know who fucking loves mediocrity and they own the world? The right.
They're all for it.
They'll
That's their
take
favorite thing is
any
mediocrity.
number of like goateed, Oakley wearing motherfuckers. They're like, "Sure, man, you too.
Yeah.
You can be part of our whatever."
Sure, why not?
But
You're a number.
Yeah, and we are like, I'm sorry, are those Oakleys on your goateed face? You can move along.
Yeah, I don't think our smarts have gotten us anywhere, man.
No, certainly not.
We're not. I think, I still believe that overall the liberals are probably more intelligent of the two
It is written.
groups, but it gets us nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Smart.
To
what
what?
does smart get you?
Right. It gets you.
That and a ham sandwich gets you a ham sandwich.
Exactly
Is that how
right.
the saying
Yeah,
is?
and we're not the ones obsessed with guns. So guess what? None of us own guns.
Right.
And guess what? The other team has the football team with all the guns, a bunch of dead bodies around them because they already won.
Oh God,
They already won.
So dark. Fatherly advice.
Okay. The only difference between this episode and the rest is that usually I pre-lap this section, so we talk and then it occurs to us to do fatherly
Help me,
advice.
Daddy. Fatherly advice.
You knew what I was supposed to do.
Help me, Daddy. Fatherly advice.
And now we're talking over the theme song.
Should we try it again?
No, should we? I mean, yeah.
Because we got to do
because
the.
I can actually see the waveform here.
We got to do the DJ thing. So
The DJ
coming
thing?
up right now. It's our segment.
Help me, Daddy.
Wait. We can do this. I have the waveform right here, so I can see it. So I'll be like, say, because usually, Jeffrey, I pre-lap all these things. So when we get to this segment, I can time it perfectly, and I say it right
Fatherly
before
advice.
the thing.
Help me, Daddy. Fatherly advice.
And now I play
Help
the
me,
theme song
Daddy.
3 times.
Fatherly advice. Disaster. It's a work in progress.
I know we're learning the new system.
WIP. We're learning the new system.
Yeah.
Fatherly advice.
Yes.
4-7-8. Do you know the 4-7-8 breathing?
4 seconds, 7 seconds, 8 seconds.
Yes.
But what do you do in each of those?
Inhale for 4.
Uh-huh.
Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. And the exhale could be like a, like it could be a pretty strong exhale.
Interesting.
That'll put you right to sleep.
I know this.
Wake up in the middle of the night.
4-7-8.
4-7-8.
Wow.
That'll put you right to sleep.
I've heard of box breathing. Do you know what box breathing is?
No, that's breath of fire. Is that when you're inhaling through your own vomit through your nose?
Yes.
Okay.
It's 4-4-4-4. Inhale 4, hold 4, out. Exhale 4, hold 4.
Wait, say that again.
4 seconds, 4 seconds, 4 seconds, 4
Okay.
seconds. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold.
Okay.
And it is used by athletes for something.
For something?
Yeah.
Well, this one will do you right.
That sounds great. And that's if you want to fall asleep.
Yep.
This is wonderful fatherly advice you've given me.
It's great fatherly advice. I've had a lot of trouble sleeping for the last couple of months.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with me, man. I reached a level of exhaustion this last couple of months that I've never been at in my entire life. Where I felt like I was going crazy. Like, I was just like, I'm so fucking exhausted. What is happening to me? And then, like, I've never been an insomniac, but it, like, built on itself to where you're like, am I going to fall asleep tonight? And then you're like,
I have a diagnosis for you. I know what it is.
anxiety. But,
Nope.
Okay, go ahead.
It's your testosterone.
Oh, it starts to leave a man at this age.
Yeah.
And I actually read that. I looked that up.
That's what's happening. It happened to me roughly at the same age because I believe I'm 18 months older than you.
Something like that.
About 18 months ago.
Oh, Jesus.
And it is, I think you do come out the other end. I think I'm coming out the other end, but it's
With
a thing.
boners? Will I still get boners?
There was no suffrage.
No lack of boners?
No boner suffrage.
Boner suffrage? Great. Okay.
I know that's not
So
what
it's
the
like
word
hot flashes. It's like male hot flashes?
is. Yeah,
That's what I was
you just
going
get
through?
sort of like low energy and down in the dumps and become a sad dad.
Yeah, that happened to me.
That sucks, man. I had my
know.
testosterone checked. It became that bad.
Wow.
And they treat it if it's below 8 parts per million or whatever the fuck the unit is.
Mm-hmm.
If it's below 8, and it ranges from 8 to like 250.
Wow.
So that's considered normal. Guess what mine was?
9.
8.
Oh, Jesus.
So it is so low that
right
it affects
on
my
the
life, but they won't treat it.
Jesus.
So it's been a major handicap.
Fuck testosterone.
Fuck testosterone.
Hashtag.
I would like to say fuck testosterone, actually.
There you
Hashtag
go.
fuck testosterone.
Now you're identified with something.
That's kind of how I feel. It's like saying fuck testosterone.
Yeah.
In a way.
It's kind of like one of those, okay, I guess it's
I
there.
guess, sure, yeah. Fuck armpits.
Yeah. Fuck them. I don't know, actually.
Yeah, I mean, have you
Kinda
tried? Yeah, don't knock it.
do you have fatherly
I
advice?
do. It's controversial.
Oh, all right.
To me.
You're just
I
on
brought
fire
the.
tonight.
I've decided to bring the ruckus. This episode is going to be
I love
all
it.
over
Bring the
TMZ tomorrow.
motherfucking Ruckus.
Jeff,
Sir.
I'm not going to sit here and confirm
No.
nor deny
Not neither of those two.
any involvement or curiosity in transcendental meditation.
Alternative lifestyles. I see.
I'm not going to
No,
sit.
you
I'm
can't.
not going to
You're
sit
not
here.
allowed to.
I'm not going to sit here and waste your
The
time.
first rule of TM is don't
Oh.
talk about TM.
You do not talk. You are not to speak of it.
No. But you may or may not be involved in such a thing.
Unless you're David Lynch. I may or may not.
Shucks, it's wonderful. It really changes my...
The cosmos. I watched Masterclass. My real fatherly advice is that Masterclass website is mostly horse shit, and
Yeah.
it's not worth the money because it's just people like name dropping and not actually teaching you anything. It's just an extended interview.
I'm gonna watch Ron Howard tell me how to fucking.
You can get a
be
lot
Opie.
more off of YouTube. I know Ron Howard is like, there are 4 aspect ratios, 4:3, 185, and you're like, I could definitely have just gotten this off of Wikipedia. So it's nice that Ron Howard is telling me.
disaster class. But you watched the David Lynch one?
I did, and it's great because he's just a national treasure.
Oh my god.
Smokes the whole time, smokes cigarettes.
They
I write to Beethoven, and I smoke cigarettes, and my wife puts me outside.
they reviewed it on Slate, and he was like, David Lynch's ideas or his advice is like, ideas are out there. You're an antenna. Pick them up
Yeah.
while you walk through the world, and then make them into movies. You're like, thank you.
Yeah, he starts way back. he gets a major running start.
It's like my favorite thing about the Museum of Jurassic Technology when you walk in and there's a film strip on with a history of the museum, and it's like a history of the concept of museums. It's so good.
It's so brilliant.
Yeah. But no,
brilliant.
what were you saying before that? You had the
Anyway, so I may or may not
Dark
have gone to.
TM.
I may or may not have taken the course.
Yeah.
I may or may not have begun actually experimenting with transcendental meditation. And let me pause here and say I have been attempting to meditate for literally 15 years.
I have too.
I do morning
Never
pages. I do hollow sync. You sit there and you're like, focus on your breathing. Count. Okay, 1 breath, 2 breath. Oh, I'm now daydreaming. Come on, Brennan, stop being so stupid.
Sure.
And then it's like, that's what meditating is. And I was like, I'm just a failure. And I've literally in 15 years of diligent attempting to do it, never made
got
any
there.
progress.
Yep.
And then he on the masterclass is like, it's not about focus. In fact, daydreaming is a major component, or whatever he says. You know what I mean? I was like, oh,
Nice.
daydreaming
That
is
sounds good.
my fucking bugaboo.
Wait, so that's what led you to TM?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I was like, oh, maybe this is the form of meditation that actually will work. That and like Jerry Seinfeld and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, I didn't know he was
all
into
these fucking people.
Okay.
And so,
Centered seeming people.
yeah,
People
productive.
who are confident in their own bodies.
Yeah, exactly. People are just comfortable, you know.
This Jerry Seinfeld gets a little too much credit for being productive. Guy did one TV show.
True. Very true.
Okay.
So I went in a bit of a cynic, but I was like, fuck it, I need something. I'm having a midlife crisis. I'm upset all the time about almost everything. And they were like, okay, here's how you do it. And it's this like simple thing. And for some reason, no one ever actually is willing to say what it is, so I guess I shouldn't either.
Okay.
But it is very simple.
I know what your mantra is.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah.
What is it?
Celery chunks.
Celery chunks. That'll probably work. Who knows?
I don't know.
And I started doing it, and almost fucking immediately it felt like my brain was making a fist, and then like my head started to tingle, and then all this like and this weird like sort of bizarre tight but good tight sensation rolled down my head,
Right.
and I went into this form of being asleep but not asleep that I've never experienced in my life.
Amazing.
And I sat there, like basically snoring, but being wide awake on the inside, but also being asleep at the same time. And it like fucking totally worked.
What?
Instantly.
But we can neither confirm nor deny that this happened.
Oh, I switched into the first person. I'm saying this on behalf of someone else who wrote it on a piece of paper and handed it to me in the airport.
You've read this story.
I have read.
Yes.
It is. So I am here to say that it is. There really might be something to it, and I'm a week and a half in, and life is a little better.
Oh, that's already. You're already on the way then.
Yeah.
A week and a half is nothing
You do it twice a day,
in the eternity of the consciousness. How many minutes?
20 minutes both times.
And how? So do you have to keep taking the class, or do you just take
Nope.
it? And,
Oh, that's the best part. I thought it was going to be upsold like landmark
thought
education.
that was what they did.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like, now you've done the forum, now do the advanced forum, then you
Right,
become a
right.
forum leader and you go on the weekend retreat.
Right.
And like it's like, and that'll be $70,000, please.
And
No,
get
they're like
30 of your friends to come with you.
exactly, and like now bring everybody. Yeah, and they were like, nope, bye.
Wow.
They were like, that's it, you're done.
And then how is that? That cost some money?
It's prorated based on your household income, which is cool.
Okay.
But it's still pricey.
Okay.
And that's
Couple $100 are we talking?
let's say that.
Okay.
And it is kind it's kind of great. Yeah, because I thought they were going to upsell us at the end and like advanced blah blah and this and that.
Yeah,
but they don't. They don't. They haven't.
culty.
They have. I thought it was going to be that, and they have a net to catch the people who just want to like need a community. So they'll like do things every Sunday, and then there's like there are the retreats you can go on, but they don't push it at all. So that people like me who just wanted to come for the technology and get the fuck out, can then go on with their lives. And they were very adamant. They were like, "This is it. 4 days. You're done. You know what to do. Get out of here."
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Go ahead. And I was like, "Wow."
And is that here in Highland Park? Where does that?
It's in Los Feliz of all places.
Oh, really?
And there's one in Beverly Hills and one in Santa Monica. But the Los Feliz one is the most trafficked center in the country.
Really? Kabbalah House. Is that that isn't the center for blah blah blah? That's
Oh no, that place, for philosophical inquiry or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, that place looks amazing. It
looks amazing. What is that?
Just some fucking nerds with money. I want to check out their deal.
Their deal, and the Steve Allen Theater is like has a component of weirdness to it too, right?
I've always been intrigued, but that's a fortress. It's a Fort Knox.
Oh really?
But maybe you can get in. Who knows?
Can't get in. We found a great theater a bar in Pasadena with a stage. I told you this.
Oh yes.
We want to start doing a thing.
I'm all over it.
Okay. Shall we call it a quits? Because I'm hungry.
In fact, maybe we should say goodnight twice and put out 2 episodes. The way that Chris Beatty was, because this way we could put out one and then put out another one, because it can be difficult to meet.
You think we can chop this up into 2 episodes?
I think we could. And then if we say good night everybody, and then good night everybody again.
I'm not opposed to it. I'd love to hear how it happens, because this isn't a long episode. We've been talking for like 2 hours, right?
Have we? We're at 1:45. This is too long a podcast to put out in the world.
But then we only have like 2.5 segments on each episode.
Yeah, 3 at the most.
Well, look, I'll leave that up to you, Brendan. Okay. The audience is really enjoying this after an hour and 45.
Because click that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it. I think we'll say goodnight.
Should we have a short episode?
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Good night. And then should we do that again?
Oh.
And then
good night, everybody.
Well, Jeffrey, should we call it?
We got through so much in so little time. It's timely and not timely at the same time, somehow.
That sentence had the word time in it 3 times.
No.
Mine had it in it 2 times.
Good night, everybody. I'm terrible at this.